You come from the Earth. One of them.
One of them?
I can't tell you anymore.
The beginning of the end is almost ready to start.
I'm a telepath. I can read your mind. And in answer to your current thought, I don't have the time to go and tie a knot in my reproductive organs.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy enters its final stage.
I waited a long time to find out what's been going on.
This is it. Finito. History in the ending. The first, last goodbye.
It'll all end in tears. Probably already has.
The concluding series of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy begins next Tuesday at 6:30.
Welcome to the third hour of Air Checks. We are going to start with the final series called the Quintessential Phase. A scene from Fit the Third was cut from commercially released recordings of the radio series because it featured copyrighted music that could not be cleared. In the scene, Marvin hums like Pink Floyd, using the opening to Shine on You Crazy Diamond, then sings rock and roll music by the Beatles, and finally the theme music from 2001, A Space Odyssey, the opening sunrise movement from Richard Strauss's Also Sprach Zarathustra. It would have been very cost prohibitive in the 1980s to get clearances to release a recording of Fit the Third with this music, though agreements were reached on the rest of the copyrighted music used during the first series. As a result, all commercial recordings of Fit the Third are about 2 minutes shorter than other episodes. Recordings of the original radio broadcast still contain it. For the CD and cassette releases of the tertiary phase in the United States, and all CD and cassette releases of the Quandary and Quintessential Phases, the instrumental title theme, Journey of the Sorcerer, composed by Bernie Leadon and originally recorded by U.S. rock band The Eagles, was reinterpreted by the Illegal Eagles, a tribute band, using an arrangement by Philip Pope. This was done for licensing reasons, though the original track was used for the original radio transmissions and the on-demand downloads. In a 2005 interview with Simon Jones, the use of this song was mentioned as a major cause for the delay in releasing recordings of the new series in the United States. From the Quintessential Phase series, here's Fit the 23rd of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Quintessential Phase.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy contains many contradictions on matters of fact and indeed fiction.
Anything that happens, happens.
But it's very clear upon one point. Nothing travels faster than the speed of light. Nothing, that is, with the possible exception of bad news, which obeys its own special laws. The Hinge-Freel people of Arkentuthel Minor once tried to build spaceships that were powered by bad news, but they didn't work particularly well and were so extremely unwelcome whenever they arrived that there wasn't really much point setting off in the first place. The problem was that sublight spaceships, sent at great risk to do battle or business in distant parts, took thousands of years to get anywhere, and by the time they eventually arrived, assuming they ever did, the use of hyperspace travel had usually been invented, so that whatever battles the ships had been sent to fight in the first place had been taken care of, centuries earlier. This didn't, of course, deter their crews from wanting to fight the battles anyway. They'd had a couple of thousand years' sleep, and they'd come a long way to do a tough job, and by Zarquon they were going to do it. Once time travel was discovered, and battles started pre-erupting hundreds of years before the issues even arose, confusion reached quantum levels. And when the infinite improbability drive arrived, and whole planets started turning unexpectedly into banana fruitcake, the history faculty of the University of Maximegalon finally gave up and surrendered its buildings to the rapidly expanding faculty of Divinity and Water Polo, which had been after them for years. This almost certainly means that no one will ever know for sure where the Grebulons came from or exactly what it was they wanted. Their sublight ship had been travelling for millennia when a routine 10-yearly check of its systems resulted in a fairly significant error message. It slowly became clear that the ship's memory, all the way up to and including its central mission module, was missing, removed by the meteorite which had not only knocked a large hole in the ship, but also in that part of its equipment which was supposed to detect if the ship is hit by a meteorite. The Grebulon ship no longer had the faintest idea where its destination was or how to reach it. Tiny scraps of instructions were all it could reconstruct from the tatters of its memory.
Your year mission is to land a safe distance, monitor it, and...
In other words, complete garbage. The ship immediately revived all of its crew, but while in hibernation, all their memories, identities, and instructions kept in the ship's central mission module for safekeeping had also been lost. Thus, they also had not the faintest idea of who they were or what they were doing.
Hello. Excuse me. Who are you? Does anybody know who I am? Then I don't know who I am. You don't know.
Before its core system shut down for good, the ship looked for somewhere to land and something to monitor. The planet it found to land on was so achingly far from the sun that should warm it that it took all of its enviroform machinery and life support systems to render it in any way habitable. There were other nearer planets, but the ship's strategomat was obviously locked into lurk mode. As far as finding something to monitor was concerned, though, the Grebulons hit solid gold. Meanwhile, in another layer of the universe altogether, a scruffy figure in a dressing gown is about to be bitten very hard on the thigh.
Excuse me, can you direct me to the information desk, please?
Last call for the Arcturus shuttle at gate 127. Passengers, please follow the slime trail to gate 127 for the Arcturus shuttle. Heed and bye. Thank you.
The planet of Nawat had been named after the first words of the earliest settlers to arrive there, after struggling across light years of the galaxy. The main town was called Well. There weren't any other towns to speak of. Settlement there had not been a success.
Train team to gate 208, please. A bog hog is loose in Terminal 5. Heed and bye. Thank you.
Could you tell me where the...
In an economy based almost entirely on revenge, the major activities pursued on Nawat were those of catching, skinning, and eating Nawatian bog hogs, which were the only form of animal life on Nawat, all other having long ago died of despair. The bog hogs are tiny, vicious creatures, and the small margin by which they fall short of being completely inedible was the margin by which life on the planet subsisted.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the information desk is? Good Lord.
The main trade on Nawat was in the skins of the Nawatian bog hog, but it wasn't successful because no one in their right minds would want to buy one. Making clothing out of a bog hog skin was an exercise in futility, since they were unaccountably thin and leaky. So what was the bog hog's secret of keeping warm? If anyone had ever learnt the language of the bog hogs, they would have discovered that there was no trick. The bog hogs were as cold and wet as anyone else on the planet. No one had had the slightest desire to learn the language of the bog hogs for the simple reason that these are creatures whose only form of communication is through biting each other very hard on the thigh.
I've got him now. He's heading for that boring-looking human in the dressing gown. Ow! Ow! My thigh! That really hurt. What was that?
Your bog hog. They do that.
Arthur Dent has been in some hellholes in his life, but never before in a spaceport with a sign saying, even travelling despondently is better than arriving here. To welcome visitors, the arrivals hall features a picture of the president of Nawat smiling. It was taken shortly after he shot himself, so although the photo has been retouched, the smile it wears is rather a ghastly one. The side of his head has been drawn back in crayon. The truth is that no one wants to be president of Nawat. There is only one ambition which anyone on the planet ever has, and that is to leave.
Good morning.
Yes?
My name is Arthur Dent. I hitched a ride on a robot freighter bound for these coordinates, expecting to find a planet called Earth, and instead I found a planet called Nawat, and this thing ran up and bit me in the thigh.
A bog hog? Yes, they do that. What coordinates are on the flight plan?
ZZ9 plural Z alpha.
Well, those are the coordinates of Nawat. You've arrived. Welcome. Eat and bye.
The thing is, you see, the shapes of the continents, everything really tells me that this is definitely the Earth, but it most definitely is not. And my Hitchhiker's guide doesn't work very well here, so I can't find out what's going on. Look.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Anything that, in happening, causes something else to happen.
See?
one planet may look like another and occupy the same coordinates in space-time, but what coordinates it occupies in probability is anybody's guess.
But it's taken me a year to get here. I'm looking for somebody. Somebody I met on the Earth. Here. Or it was here.
Lost on a hyperspace jump, was she?
Yes. That's right. Her name was...
Fenchurch. Female of your species.
Good grief, yes.
1 minute, she was sitting next to you in a slump jet out of Prelium-Tarn. The next minute, the ship did a normal hyperspace hop, and she was gone. Her name wasn't even on the passenger list.
Hang on a minute.
You've tried every space line office between here and Ursa Minor looking for her. Now, finally, you thought you'd try going back to the place you first met her.
Surely you haven't.
No, sorry. Haven't seen her.
So how?
I'm a telepath. I can read your mind. And in answer to your current thought, I don't have the time to go and tie a knot in my reproductive organs.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Evidently no one has explained this to you properly. Where's your ticket?
Here.
She originated in Galactic Sector ZZ9 plural Z Alpha, yes? Now, check the small print on the back of the ticket.
Entities whose lifespans originate in any of the plural zones are advised not to travel in hyperspace and do so at their own risk. Please do not eat this ticket.
You need to be careful, too. It can happen to you.
I wish it would.
I know. You would like a cup of tea.
You have tea?
No, I was just noting the fact that you would like one, whatever it is.
Oh.
Look, in the absence of your planet, I suggest you find somewhere to come to terms with your loss. A place to stay.
A hotel room?
Good grief, not here. Not if you value your sanity, no. But your luck's in, because I'm also resettlement officer. So, what sort of thing are you looking for?
Before we start, are you likely to suggest a place called Stavromula Beta?
Something very nasty happens to you on Stavromula Beta.
Yes, but how? Right. I don't want to be anthropic, but I'd quite like to live somewhere where the people look vaguely like me. Sort of human.
Got any skills? A trade?
Oh dear, not really. I came from a world which had cars and computers and ballet and Armagnac, but left to my own devices, I couldn't build a toaster. I can just about make a sandwich, and that's it. I finance my travel by donating to tissue banks. It's amazing there's this much of me left, frankly.
Right. Simple culture, low unemployment, picnic food. Here, try this.
Bartle down?
It's got oxygen, it's got green hills, it's got sliced bread, and the people look like you.
Looks a bit boring.
I'm sorry, I was going by appearances. Look, there's a whole galaxy of stuff out there. Think about it.
I know. I do. The trouble is that this particular incarnation of the galaxy seems to lack two things. The world I was born on and the woman I love. Actually, what I really need is, well, guidance and advice. I did look them up on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Under guidance, it said, see under advice. Under advice, it said, see under guidance. It's been doing a lot of that kind of stuff recently.
Why don't you try Homalius? It's populated entirely by oracles and soothsayers, and has really excellent bathroom facilities. It could be just what you're looking for. Brochure?
Thanks.
I'm sorry this is the wrong planet. Really, I am. Ink and buy.
Oh, it's the right planet, all right. Right planet, wrong universe.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has, in what we laughingly call the past, had a great deal to say on the subject of parallel universes. Very little of this is, however, at all comprehensible to anyone below the level of advanced God. And since it is now well established that all known gods came into existence a good 3 millionths of a second after the universe began, rather than, as they usually claimed, the previous week, they already have a great deal of explaining to do as it is, and are therefore not available for comment on matters of deep physics at this time.
Anything that, in happening, causes something else to happen, causes something else to happen.
The first thing to realize about parallel universes, the guide says, is that they are not parallel. Neither are they, strictly speaking, universes either. Any given universe is not actually a thing as such, but just a way of looking at what is technically known as the WSOGMM, or whole sort of general mishmash. The whole sort of general mishmash doesn't actually exist either, but it is the sum total of all the different ways there would be of looking at it if it did. You can slice the whole sort of general mishmash any way you like, and you will generally come up with something that someone will call home. There is, for example, the Earth that Arthur Dent grew up on, where he once met a girl called Tricia Macmillan at a party in Islington, and had her snatched away by Zaphod Beeblebrox, a tall man with very broad shoulders, on each of which was a head, one perfectly visible, the other camouflaged under a birdcage with a tea towel flung over it.
Hold the phone! This is a face in a million. Does perfection have another name?
Trisha Macmillan.
Trisha McMillion. Billion. Trillion. Kid, if I followed you home, would you keep me?
I'd rather go somewhere else.
You want excitement, adventure, really wild things?
What do you have in mind?
Twice as much as the other guy, because when Zarquan made you, baby, he made a laser beam.
He did?
He did. And he set you on stun. Freow! I'd grow back my third arm for you.
Ooh.
Oh, baby, you make me see stars. How about I show you some planets?
Hey, I've got a doctorate in astrophysics. Be careful what you promise.
It's nothing I can't deliver, angel lips. What say we make like Alosimanian polar bears and break the ice?
Will I need to get my bath?
Ah, we gotta go before you have to be back in heaven. Eddie, beam us up.
If you're in the mood, two-headed dude.
That particular Earth was demolished by the Vogons as part of an intergalactic traffic calming initiative, and Arthur and Tricia, or Trillian, were the only human survivors. After several adventures, that particular Trillian became a successful intergalactic reporter for the Sidereal Daily Mentioner. However, on yet another parallel Earth in the whole sort of general mishmash, a blonder, more American-sounding Tricia Macmillan utterly failed to get off with Zaphod Beeblebrox at a party in Islington. The precise connection between that event and the fact that Tricia Macmillan's particular Earth did not get demolished by the Vogons is currently sitting at number 4,763,984,132 on the research project priority list at what was once the history department of the University of Maxi Megalon. And no one currently at the prayer meeting by the poolside appears to feel any sense of urgency about it. However, like her parallel intergalactic travelling counterpart, Trillian, the earthbound Tricia Macmillan became a reporter. In the process, she learnt two things. One was that as a scientist working in the popular arts, you can make a lot of money covering some very dumb subjects. The other was that you should never go back for your bag.
Miss Andrews, you've agreed to do this interview because you have a new astrology book out. You and Your Stars, the follow-up to You and Your Black Holes.
But there's no such thing as a free launch, right?
No, quite. Now, putting aside your relationship with the White House for the moment, let's talk about your area of so-called expertise. Last week, astronomers announced that there's a 10th planet, discovered out beyond the orbit of Pluto, Persephone.
Rupert. They've nicknamed it after some astronomer's parrot.
Yes, but that must put your astrology calculations out, mustn't it? I mean, maybe you knew what happened when Neptune was in Virgo, but what happens now that Rupert is rising?
Well, it doesn't change the essential movement of the planets. Whatever influence it has had on events is already factored in.
If you'd known about Rupert 3 years ago, might the president be eating boysenberry flavor ice cream on Thursdays rather than on Fridays?
Miss Macmillan, I'm aware that you have a degree in physics, astrophysics, and I can assure you my...
This is most interesting. It may help solve our problem.
Yes.
Could be just the answer we Grebulons have been looking for.
Yes.
But it's not a science.
Could it?
Well, of course it could.
It's a scientific methodology to it.
Which one are you?
I don't know.
And you?
I don't know either.
Who are you?
I don't know. Well, you must be superior. You're shouting.
Yes, shouting. Yes, and I am taller. Does that count?
Much taller. Well, how should I know?
We have found much to monitor from the third planet called the Earth. It has provided some interesting information.
Yes, information.
Yes.
All New York police lieutenants are fat and bald and suck lollipops.
Lollipops.
It is a mistake to give a glove puppet bear a water pistol.
Not all over me.
Oh. And the Teletubbies are very picky eaters.
More than that. We have learnt that we are stranded on Persephone, the 10th planet popularly called Rupert. And that events here are influenced by the movement of the planet around this sun. And I have had an idea.
So you are in charge.
Club Alpha, please.
One of the extraordinary things about life is the sort of places where it's prepared to put up with living. Anywhere it can get some kind of a grip, whether it's the intoxicating seas of Santraginus 5, where the fish never seem to care whatever the heck kind of direction they swim in, the firestorms of Frastra, where they say life begins at 40,000 degrees, or just burrowing around in the lower intestine of a rat for the sheer unadulterated hell of it. Life will always find a way of hanging on in somewhere. It will even live in New York, though that's hard to know why. Some of the things that live in the lower intestines of rats would disagree, but when it's autumn in New York, the air smells as if someone's been frying goats in it. And if you're keen to breathe, the best plan is to open a window and stick your head in a building.
Miss McMillan, welcome to Alpha. Miss Andrews is waiting for you.
Thank you. Stavro not here today?
He's in London. The new club opens there next week.
You mean I can crawl home after a night out without having to endure business class?
Better believe it.
Miss Andrews, I got your note. You were upset about something in the interview?
Excuse me?
The note said, meet me at Club Alpha, not happy, Gail Andrews.
I was really happy with the interview.
What?
Of course astrology isn't a science. It's just a set of rules like chess or tennis or... What's the thing the British have?
Self-loathing?
Parliamentary democracy. The rules just kind of got there. Astrology rules you stars and planets as a way of thinking about a problem, which lets a shape emerge.
Miss Andrews, Gail...
When you got so emotionally focused on stars and planets this morning, it seemed to me you weren't steamed about astrology, but actual stars and planets. So I asked you here to see if you were okay.
Oh.
There's something in your past that still upsets you? About astronomy?
I made a decision once. I'm not sure it was the right one.
Who is? Every moment of every day, every decision we make opens some doors and closes others.
Quite a few years ago, I met a guy at a party. He said he was from another planet.
Okay.
And did I want to go there with him? I think he had 2 heads.
2 heads?
It was that kind of party. One was disguised as a parrot in a cage covered up. It was asleep, I think.
Right.
Hey, I've got a doctorate in astrophysics. Be careful what you promise.
It's nothing I can't deliver, Angel Boobs. Let's go before you want it back in heaven.
I'll need my bag.
Nah, I'm on a meter! Let's just rearrange the alphabet and put you and I together.
I'll get the bag. Really, I won't be a minute.
Nothing personal, sweet lips, but a minute was all I had. Ciao. Beam me up, Eddie.
Whatever you say, El Presidente!
Now, although it was that kind of party, I know he wasn't of this world, and hardly a moment goes by that I don't wonder about some other me, a me that didn't go back for her bag. I feel like she's out there somewhere, and I don't know, I'm walking in her shadow.
Are you married, Tricia?
I came close a few times, mostly because I wanted to have a kid. But every guy ended up asking why I was constantly looking over his shoulder. At one point, I even thought I might just go to a sperm bank and have somebody's child at random. But I never went and found out for real. That's why I gave up astrophysics and went into television. Nothing is real.
Something else is wrong, isn't it?
Gail, I didn't just come over from London to record our interview. I had another reason. NBS asked if I'd like to try for Mom and Eddie's breakfast show job.
They asked you? I heard she was leaving the show to have a baby.
Yeah, in spite of the money they were offering for her to have it on the show. Anyway, the car was late picking me up, and then I realized I'd left my bag in my room.
But you didn't go back for it?
No. I just turned up, sat down, and they ran the auto cue. And I couldn't read it.
Why not?
My contact lenses were in my bag, in the hotel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be. Look, I'm really sorry about this morning.
Don't say another word.
Thanks. I want to see if I can still get tonight's red eye back to Heathrow. Goodbye, Gail. And thanks.
Oh, hey, don't forget your bag.
There are times when you do not go back for your bag, and other times when you do. I just need to figure out which.
Thanks to modern hyperphysics, it's becoming clear that the universe consists of a complex web of dimensional layers which duplicate certain levels of existence and form branches to others. Evidence for this is legion, from the way in which a long unused phrase such as total perspective vortex suddenly crops up 3 times in as many crosswords, to the fact that Zaphod Beeblebrox, having left Tricia McMillan behind at that legendary party, was, due to the vagaries of improbability, instantly transported to the same party on a different Earth in a parallel universe where he was A, too drunk to notice he'd just eaten the same vol au vent twice, and B, struck by a dark-haired girl who looked very familiar and did not need the constant accompaniment of a handbag. That same Zaphod Beeblebrox it was who more recently returned Arthur Dent to the planet Cricket, delivered Ford Prefect to the nearest planet with a pool table, amicably parted with Trillian at the Sidereal Daily Mentioner recruiting office, and is now seeking some kind of truth and reconciliation with his past. A search which has followed a trail of rapacious economic plunder from an H-shaped building on Ursa Minor to an H-shaped building on Sacquo Pilia Hencher, where a figure wearing a fast food delivery service uniform and 2 jet bike helmets carries a large insulated satchel into the reception area.
Hey, Fru, this is it, right? Megadodo Publications.
Let's not get hung up on names, dude. Just chill and be awed, because you are standing in the home of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the most totally remarkable book in the whole of the known universe.
Hey, Frosty, cool, bro. Now, I got a pizza delivery for, Zani Whoop. Double anchovy, Caesar salad, easy on the squid liver.
No problemo. Elevator to his new office on the 23rd floor, make a left at the water cooler, 3rd door on the right.
Hey, sure thing, my man.
Hello, I am to be your serious cybernetics corporation happy vertical people transporter to
23rd floor and step on it, meat crate.
Stepping with pleasure.
Mr. Van Harl, reception. He's on his way up.
2 heads, 3 arms. It's your boy, all right.
Thank you. Have the account's mainframe booted up and alert security. Remind them to bring an extra half pair of handcuffs.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Victorian Code Blue, go back to your base. Return all flat jeans, caftans, and wigs to costume storage.
It's open, Zephyr.
Do all 4 of my eyes deceive me? I think not. Not this time, Zani Whoop.
10 out of 10 for observation. Why don't you holster the zap gun, put down your pizza, and I'll pour us a drink.
Make that 2. I've waited a long time to find out what's been going on, and I'll need to be very, very drunk to understand it.
In your case, Zephyr, that's the only way you could understand it.
And this is a very spicy pizza. It's going to take a lot of washing down. I'd offer you some, but I kind of hate to share.
Cheers. Or should I say, in your case, chin chin.
Funny.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, when pressed, locates the planet Hawalias far out on the eastern rim of the galaxy. It's highly renowned for its abundance of oracles, seers, and soothsayers. It's also highly renowned for its fast food franchises, because most mystics are utterly incapable of cooking for themselves.
Anything that in happening causes itself to happen again, happens again. Though not necessarily in chronological order.
If you land on Hawalias and pick up one of its tourist brochures that drift like snow in the litter-strewn corners of its spaceport, you will find it witters on about the ancient mystical arts of the seers, while wildly over-representing the level of accommodation available. In fact, the generally uncared-for condition of its biggest town suggests that some sort of calamity has befallen it.
Excuse me? Why are you boarding up your shop?
We're going out of business. No call for us profits anymore.
Why's that?
Hold the end of this plank and I'll show you.
Righto.
Where are you? Where are you? Oh.
Here. A sub-ether video.
Well, it's not a toaster. What's this?
In a speech he will give tomorrow, the Vice President of Puff La Vegas will announce that he is a woman.
And this?
Next month's royal wedding between Prince Gid of the Sufling dynasty and Princess Huli of Raoul Alpha will be the most spectacular ceremony yet witnessed in the Bajanji territory. Our reporter, Trillian Astra, sends us this report.
It's Trillian.
Well, Crot, the scene here in the middle of next month is absolutely incredible.
You see what we have to contend with?
I was watching that.
You and everyone else. That's why this place is like a ghost town. Every vid reporter is a prophet now. Quick bit of time travel, quick hop across dimensions, there it is. The future, the past, several versions of someone you know.
Yes, that's what I mean. That was someone I know.
Princess Huli? If I had to stand around saying hello to everyone who's known Princess Huli, I'd need a new set of lungs.
No, the reporter. Her name's Trillian. I don't know where she got the Astra from. She's from the same planet as me. I wondered where she'd got to.
Oh, she's wall-to-wall over the continuum these days, gallivanting here and there through space-time. She wants to settle down and find herself a nice steady era, that young lady does.
Is she, always dark-haired?
Oh, I don't watch this stuff. Thank the great green Arkle sees you.
No, of course not. It's just that I have seen a Trillian. Tricia Macmillan, blonde, and sort of American. On Earth, where I came from. But in another dimension, possibly.
That's just what I was saying. Look, I'm not here to sort out your dimensional issues. I'm busy going out of business. For what it's worth, here's a bit of free guidance.
It'll all end in tears. Probably already has.
All right, now hold the plank steady while I nail it. Oh, God, my thumb.
Are you all right?
Oh. I suggest you trot along now. I may need to speak in tongues for a few minutes. Please?
Oh. All right, then.
Try that cave over there. That's only a suggestion, mind. Not formal oracular advice.
Thank you. Bye.
The days are long gone when the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy building was the third hippest place to be in the whole of Ursa Minor, as its offices are often shifted at very short notice from planet to planet for reasons of local climate, hostility, power bills, or tax. They're always reconstructed precisely the same way, as for many of the company's employees, the layout of their offices represented the only constants they knew in a distorted personal universe. Unless you had your own personal universe inside your office, of course. The Hitchhiker's Guide building is currently located in the city of Antwerp on the world known as Sacro-Pilia Hencher, and Ford Prefect has entered it in his usual way, via the ventilation system rather than the main lobby, because the main lobby is no longer peopled by real people with unkempt hair and a relaxed attitude to footwear, but patrolled by melon-sized flying security robots whose job it is to quiz incoming employees about their expense accounts. Ford Prefect's expense accounts are notoriously complex and difficult affairs, and he's found on the whole that the lobby robots do not fully comprehend his understated approach to bookkeeping. He prefers, therefore, to make his entrance via the ventilation shafts leading to the building's higher floors.
Ow! Holy Belgium, I swear they've been saving money by rebuilding the floors lower.
Ford is carrying a satchel in which is a lightweight throwing towel, a number 3 gauge prizing tool, and a toy bow and arrow bought in a street market for reasons which will shortly become apparent.
Intruder, your presence has been detected. Have your sleeves rolled for barcode scan and your expenses ready for inspection. Do not attempt to run. Do not attempt to offer bribes.
Lick the suction cup on that. Aim, and if its movement sensors are the usual Sirius cybernetics garbage.
I detect your movement. Do not attempt to run. Empty your pockets.
Robot diverted. Aim towel.
Emergency, third-party vision socket impairment.
Grab the bot. Prizing tool. Power switch off. Logic circuit colour.
Logic is a wonderful thing, but it has certain drawbacks. Anything that thinks logically can be fooled by something else which thinks at least as logically as it does. The easiest way to fool, say, a completely logical robot is best demonstrated by the famous herring sandwich experiments, conducted a millennia ago at MISPWOSO, the Maxi-Megalon Institute of slowly and painfully working out the surprisingly obvious. A robot was programmed to believe that it liked herring sandwiches, after which a herring sandwich was placed in front of it, whereupon the robot said to itself,
"Ah, herring sandwich. I like herring sandwiches."
It would then tip down and scoop up the herring sandwich, in its herring sandwich scoop, and straighten up again. Unfortunately, the robot was fashioned in such a way that the action of straightening up caused the herring sandwich to slip off its scoop and fall on the floor, whereupon the robot said to itself,
"Ah, herring sandwich. I like herring sandwiches."
And repeated the loop over and over and over again. The thing that prevented the herring sandwich from crawling off in search of other ways of passing the time was that it was only marginally less alert to what was going on than the robot. The scientists at the Institute thus discovered the driving force behind all change, development, and innovation in life was boredom, or rather the practical function of boredom. In a fever of excitement, they then went on to discover other emotions like irritability,
Who left this herring sandwich here?
depression,
If I drop that sandwich again, I'm going to switch myself off.
reluctance,
This sandwich has got carpet fluff all over it.
ickiness,
It's got green stuff growing on it, too.
and so on. The next big breakthrough came when they stopped using herring sandwiches, whereupon a whole welter of new emotions became suddenly available to them for study, such as relief, joy, friskiness, appetite, satisfaction, and most important of all, the desire for happiness. This was the biggest breakthrough of all. Now all that robots needed was the capacity to be either bored or happy. They would then work the rest out for themselves. The robot which Ford has trapped under his towel is a logical, if momentarily unhappy robot. It's happy when it can move about. It's happy when it can see other things. It's particularly happy when it can see other things moving about, particularly if they're doing things they shouldn't do, because it could then, with considerable delight, report them. But Ford will soon fix that. His logic is that by reconfiguring its logic circuit, he will have a robot that is logically and ecstatically happy to help him do things he really shouldn't do.
Power on, towel off.
Mr. Prefect, sir, I'm so happy to see you!
Good to see you too, little fella.
My fulfillment is uncontained at your return. I am so happy! I could clear all your expenses without requiring adequate proofs of purchase.
Don't let me stop you.
Oh, sadly, such clearance is restricted to the editor or the accounts computers.
Well, if the editor won't clear them, and trust me, he won't, we'll try the computer.
Oh, goody, goody. Where shall we start?
Here, with you telling me what's going on.
Oh, just the nicest of all possible things. May I sit on your lap?
No!
Oh, I'm overjoyed to be spurned like this, especially when you shout at me. Spurn me again, please.
Listen, something's changed, hasn't it? Something big.
Oh, yes, in the most fabulous and wonderful way. I feel so good about it. It was scrumptious before, but now it's yummy-licious. Please shout at me again, go on.
Just tell me what's happened!
Oh, thank you.
Please!
The guide has been taken over. There's a wonderful new management.
What new management? When? Never mind. Does that door still lead to the editor's office?
Why, yes. It's all so gorgeous I could just melt.
Look, be quiet, will you? What's your name?
Part number 223-219B, reorder code SecBot Rev B. Fruity or what?
No. What would be a good name for you? Emily Saunders. No. Her dog. Perfect. So, Colin.
I am Colin. Colin, the security robot called Colin. After a dog. Woof, woof. God.
Colin, shut up. There's a battery of laser guns linked to scanners in that door frame. It's meant to catch anyone entering who isn't carrying pages of fresh copy, like me.
Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're going to draw the laser fire while I break through the door and tuck and roll behind the drinks trolley. Then I'll be on my knees by his desk and in a perfect position to open negotiations. Now, I may have to cry a bit, but you mustn't worry. That's just the grovelling phase of the negotiations.
But...
Right, ready. After 3.
But...
3! Whoa!
Ford Prefect. I've been expecting you.
Will even a grovelling phase in negotiations cut any ice with Mr. Zaniwoop Van Haal? What has happened to Zaphod Beeblebrox? And can Arthur Dent find a purpose to his life, let alone the universe and everything? Parallel zones of enlightenment await in the next temporal layer of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
In that episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, William Franklin was the book, and Rula Lenska was the voice of the bird. Simon Jones played Arthur Dent, Jeffrey McGivern, Ford Prefect, Mark Wing-Davey, Zaphod Beeblebrox, Susan Sheridan, Trillian, Sandra Dickinson, Tricia McMillan, and Jonathan Price was Zaniwoop. Roger Gregg played Eddie, Andy Taylor and Mike Fenton-Stevens, the Grebulons, John Challis played the Prophet, Mitch Benn, the Information Creature, Lorelei King was Gail Andrews, and Andrew Seacombe, Colin the Robot. The announcer was John Marsh, the surround mix was by Paul Dealey, and additional effects by Ken Humphrey and Paul Weir. The script editor was John Langdon, and the music was by Paul Wicks Wickens. The production manager was Joe Wheeler, and the production assistant was Susie Matthews. The programme was adapted, directed and co-produced by Dirk Maggs. The producers were Helen Chatwell and Bruce Hyman, and it was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4. Listeners are reminded not to try and reprogram Sirius cybernetics security bots, They contain no user-serviceable parts, and tampering with their happiness circuits will invalidate the warranty.
From the Quintessential Phase series, that was Fit the 23rd of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Here's Fit the 24th.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Quintessential Phase.
The problem of being born on a world in a plural zone never occurred to Arthur Dent during his confusing days aboard the Heart of Gold, his lonely nights on prehistoric Earth, or even the embarrassed silences following his fumbled catches on the playing fields of cricket. Indeed, the idea that the universe could consist of more than one reality was beyond his slightest imagining. For years he blindly assumed that the one and only planet Earth was destroyed by the Vogons, and that was in all senses of the word that. But then, seemingly for no reason at all, not even in response to an acute attack of allergic rhinitis by the great green Arcalcesia itself, another Earth flicked into existence to replace the demolished one. And upon that new Earth, Arthur met and fell in love with a troubled girl called Fenchurch, who he subsequently lost during a routine hyperspace jump. Now in search of any kind of meaning, Arthur has arrived upon the planet Hawarius, where a tourist brochure promises guidance by prophets and seers. Of course, he could just throw away the brochure and consult his copy of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But he's been finding...
This pop-up is brought to you by Infinidim Enterprises. Click here for vital Hitchhiker's Guide Pro update information.
Something is wrong somewhere. Thus, Arthur is even less inclined than usual to trust his Hitchhiker's Guide, which means that at this parallel of the narrative, he mostly uses it for eating his sandwiches off.
Get off! Oh, bloomin' buzzing sods! Get your own goat carcass! That'll learn ya. Oh, keep still, damn it! Bloated great blue bottle! Come here! Oh,
Hello? Ugh, ye gods, what a stink! Oh, gross! Excuse me, I think I've trodden in a dead goat.
Man, my bladder! What? Oh, the goat bladder! Hanging behind you, you... Now you've disturbed the maggots, you... And me the table tennis bat.
I'm so sorry.
What you want?
I came to ask for your advice.
What about?
Well, just sort of general advice, really. It said in the brochure...
Brochure? Advice? Advice? To do with your life, that sort of thing?
Yes. What is that smell?
What smell?
Let me just move upwind of you.
Well, you better come in my cave.
Can't we talk out here?
You'll have to help me with a photocopier.
What?
Oh, the photocopier. You'll have to help me drag it out. I have to keep it in the cave so the birds don't shit on it.
I see.
Yeah, well, I'd take a deep breath if I was you.
Ahead of you there.
Right, you can breathe again now. Right, the solar cells seem to be charged up. Always takes a minute or two. You'll be wanting some lunch.
I've eaten, thanks.
I'm sure you have. Not too rank. Oh, hang on.
Need a toothpick?
Nah. Maggoty bit. Got it, thanks. There you go.
This is your advice, then, is it?
No, it's the story of my life.
Oh, but
You see, the quality of any advice anybody has to offer can only be judged against the quality of life they actually lead.
Now, as you look through this document, you'll see that I've underlined all the major decisions I ever made to make them stand out. They're all indexed and cross-referenced. Yeah? Don't need to check them now. All I can suggest is that if you take decisions that are exactly opposite to the sort of decisions that I've taken, then maybe you won't finish up at the end of your life in a smelly old cave like this.
As Arthur Dent absorbs this self-evident truth and a blast of halitosis that would make any self-respecting bug-bladder beast book an urgent appointment with the one surviving oral hygienist on trial, events elsewhere move on apace. It's important here to remember that in this collision of realities, there are two Tricia Macmillans in Arthur's life. One, the girl he lost to Zaphod Beeblebrox at a party in Islington, Trillian Astra, intergalactic court affairs correspondent for the Sidereal Daily Mentioner. The other, blonder and more American, lives on the replacement Earth. She is Tricia Macmillan, also a reporter. Her chances of leaving the planet are about to take a belated turn for the better.
Oh, Mr. Bartlett, I'm just back from New York and I was expecting to find the grass cut and you haven't touched it.
Well, no, I didn't want to mess up the evidence of the aliens.
You mean illegal immigrants?
Space aliens, miss. They come down here, land on your lawn, then buzz off again, sometimes with your cat. Mrs. Williams at the post office, her cat got abducted. They brought him back the very next day, but he were in a very odd mood, sleeping a lot, off his fish.
What's that got to do with cutting the grass?
The marks on your lawn are exactly the sort that their landing pads would probably make.
Eric, please come and cut my grass tomorrow.
I found a 3-leaf clover there too. Not a regular one with a leaf missing, but a genuine 3-leaf.
Please.
All right. If I were you, though, I'd watch for signs of alien activity in the area, particularly from the Henley direction.
Oh, gotta go. Someone at the door.
Macmillan? Ms. Tricia Macmillan?
Yes?
We have been monitoring you.
Yes,
on TV.
Yes.
Monitoring me? How?
From the 10th planet from your sun.
Yes.
Your people call it Rupert.
Rupert.
Uh,
You look much smaller in real life.
The history of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of idealism, struggle, success, failure, and enormously long lunch breaks. Most of the surviving stories, however, speak of a founding editor called Hurling Frutmig, who established its fundamental principles of honesty and idealism and went bust. There followed many years of penury and heart-searching, but then after a chance encounter with the holy lunching friars of Undon, who claimed that just as lunch was at the centre of a man's temporal day, and man's temporal day could be seen as an analogy for his spiritual life, so lunch should A, be seen as the centre of a man's spiritual life, and B, be held in a jolly nice restaurant. He refounded the guide, laid down its fundamental principles of honesty and idealism, and where you could stuff them both. As a result, the editorial lunch break played a crucial part in the guide's history, since it meant that most of the actual work got done by whatever passing stranger happened to wander into the empty offices on an afternoon and saw something worth doing. Shortly after this, the guide was taken over by Megadodo Publications of Ursa Minor Beta, thus putting the whole thing on a very sound financial footing, which allowed the fourth editor, Lig Lurie Jr., to embark on lunch breaks of such breathtaking scope that he never formally resigned his editorship, but left his office late one morning and has never since returned. Though well over a century has since passed, guide staff still retain the romantic notion that he's merely popped out for a ham croissant and will yet return to put in a solid afternoon's work. Thus, Lig's desk is still preserved the way he left it, with the addition of a small sign which says, Lig Lurie Jr., editor, missing, presumed fed. As time has passed, Ford Prefect and the few other researchers who stayed out in the field have gradually lost touch with the corporate nightmare the guide has become. The current location of the guide building is Antwelm City, on the planet of Sacro Pilia Hensha. Its editor-in-chief, Stagyar Zildogo, is a dangerously unbalanced man who takes a homicidal view of contributors turning up in his office without pages of fresh proofed copy. Ford Prefect has lately arrived here and caught, reprogrammed and renamed one of the flying security robots to help him gain access to Stagyar's office. by any means necessary.
Right, ready. After 3.
But...
3! 1!
Ford Prefect. I've been expecting you.
You're not Stagyar, but I do know you.
My name is Van Haar.
And a delightful name it is, too, sir.
What have you done to that security robot?
I've made it very happy. It's a kind of mission I have. Where's Stagyar? And more to the point, where's his drinks trolley?
Mr. Zildogger is no longer with us. His drinks trolley is, I imagine, helping to console him for this fact. I'm your new editor-in-chief. That is, if the organization decides to retain your services.
Organization? That word isn't usually associated with the guide.
Precisely our sentiments. Understructured, over-resourced, undermanaged, over-inebriated. And that was just the editor.
I tell you what, I'll do the jokes.
No. You'll do the restaurant column.
You what?
No. Me, Van Haar. You, prefect. Me, editor. You, restaurant column. Here. A diner charge card in your name. Expiry date 2 years from now.
This is the single most exciting thing I have ever seen in my life.
You're drooling.
Sorry, Colin, the towel.
Of course!
Prefect, we're at Infinitum Enterprises.
Are you at what?
Infinitum Enterprises. We have taken over the Hitchhiker's Guide.
Megadodo Publications is now called Infinitum?
We spent millions on that name. Start liking it or start packing. The galaxy is changing. We've got to change with it. A new technology for a new future.
Oh, don't tell me about the future. I've been all over it. Spend half my time there. It's the same as anywhere else. When else? Well, whatever. Just the same old stuff in faster cars and smellier air.
That's one future. You've got to learn to think multidimensionally. Limitless futures stretching out in every direction from this moment. And from this moment. And from this. Billions and billions of shining, gleaming futures. I seem to be drooling now. Can I borrow your towel?
Sure, here.
Thank you. Billions and billions of markets.
I see. So you sell billions and billions of guides.
Oh, do try and keep up. We sell one guide billions and billions of times. We exploit the multidimensional nature of the universe to cut manufacturing costs. And we don't sell something with a plummy, pompous pedagogue lecturing to penniless hitchhikers. Oh, no. What kind of positioning was that? The one section of the market that more or less by definition didn't have any money? No. We sell a sultry Brantis-Vogan escort agency VIP vamp voice to the affluent business traveler and his vacationing wife in a billion different futures.
And you want me to be its restaurant critic?
If the quota permits.
Kill!
Delighted!
No! Get off me!
Colin, no!
Get off me!
Release!
He is unconscious. My circuits hum with joy. Shall I kill him as instructed?
No, it was a reflex action on my part. People who use words like quota trigger it. Make me shout kill, but only rhetorically.
I can kill him rhetorically if you'd prefer.
No, but we could just check his wallet while we're here. First name, Zani Whoop. Where did I come across this suit before? Let's see if there's a clue. Cash, credit tokens, Ultra Golf Club membership. Photo of someone's wife and family. Presumably his own, but as a busy executive, he might just rent them for weekends. Wait a minute.
An identities card! Can life get any better?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy explains the function of the Identi-Ease card like this. There are so many different ways in which you are required to provide absolute proof of your identity these days that life can easily become extremely tiresome just from that factor alone. Never mind the deeper existential problems of trying to function as a coherent consciousness in an ambiguous physical universe. Just look at cash point machines, for instance. Queues of people standing around waiting to have their fingerprints read, their retinas scanned, bits of skin scraped from the nape of the neck and undergoing instant genetic analysis. Hence the Identi-Ease. This encodes every single piece of information about you, your body and your life, into one all-purpose machine-readable card that you can then carry around in your wallet, thereby representing technology's greatest triumph to date over both itself and plain common sense.
With Mr. Van Haar's card, you can access any level in the building. I think I'm going into orgasm.
Colin, don't do that. You want to stay happy?
Yes, please, yes.
Then come down from the ceiling and do everything I tell you.
I'm quite happy hovering up here, thank you. I never realized before how much sheer titillation there was to be had from a good ceiling. I'll be pleased to explore my feelings about ceilings in greater depth.
Stay there and you'll be captured and have your condition chip replaced. So if you want to stay happy...
My felicity is clouded by a pang of impassioned tristesse.
Yeah, whatever. Can you keep the rest of the security system happy for a few minutes?
One of the joys of true happiness is sharing. I brim, I froth, I overflow.
Yeah, okay. Just spread a little happiness around the security network. Don't give it any information. Just make it feel good so it doesn't feel the need to ask for any. Then show me where the accounting department is.
Will this be fun?
It'll be more than fun. It'll be extremely fruity. Great Zarquan, who rebuilt the door?
Oh, the offices are all nano-built now. Molecular bots live in the woodwork. They build each other, rebuild the door, disassemble each other, and go back into the woodwork to await further damage.
Well, let's not keep them waiting.
Is that your spaceship on my lawn?
Our scout ship, yes, Ms. Macmillan.
Are you from Zaphod?
Zaphod? Where is it? Which direction? We don't think so. Not as far as we know.
You've been monitoring me.
All of you. Everything on your planet. TV, radio, computers, video circuitry, warehouses, car parks. We monitor everything.
How tedious.
What are these?
My music collection.
Look, Elvis sings Oasis.
You like Elvis Presley?
Oh, yes, Elvis.
Some of your people think that Elvis has been kidnapped by space aliens.
Last I heard, he was alive and well, living out his old age in Memphis. Mind if I video you?
If you don't mind us monitoring it.
Okay. Now, tell me slowly and carefully who you are. You first. What's your name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
What about you other two?
We don't know.
Okay. Where are you from? Why are you shaking your heads?
We don't know where we are from.
We are on a mission.
Mission, yes.
A mission. Okay. To do what?
We don't know.
So what are you doing here on Earth, then?
We have come to fetch you.
Fetch.
Why me?
Because we have lost our minds.
Can't find them.
Lost. Totally. Gone.
Oh, I beg your pardon?
We liked your interview with the astrologer.
Yes.
We are very interested in what the stars foretell. We thought stars might just be fissile gaseous bodies, but as our memories are blank, we believe whatever we like.
Yes.
And we like astrology much better.
Astrology.
We follow our horoscopes, you see. Yes. They give us a purpose.
Our ship was hit by a meteorite. Our memories were wiped. Our only remaining instructions were to land. And monitor. And
what?
The next bit is not clear yet. But our immediate problem is one of triangulation. Astrology is a very precise science. Precise. We know this.
Well...
But it is only precise for you here on Earth. So when Venus is rising in Capricorn, for instance, that is from Earth. How does that work if we are out on Rupert? What if the Earth is rising in Capricorn? It is hard for us to know.
Amongst the things we have forgotten, which we think are many and profound, is trigonometry. You said you are an astrophysicist?
I was. Well, I am, really.
You said astrology is not a science unless scientific methodology is applied to it. And that is what we would like you to come and do.
Let me get this straight. You want me to come with you to Rupert to help you accurately calculate the relative positions of Earth and Rupert to help you work out your horoscopes?
Yes.
Do I get exclusive story rights?
Yes.
Wait here while I get my bag. No. Let's just go.
Hello. Old man, on top of the next pole. Hello?
Go away. I'm ignoring you.
But this is the 5th pole I've climbed. Will you please stay in one place?
I'll meditate where I want.
Oh!
So there.
How are you doing that?
None of your business.
Please don't make me climb another one.
You should be careful climbing these poles. You could fall off and kill yourself if you tried.
Oh, no. I have it on good authority that I won't die until I have been to Stavromila Beta. And this isn't Stavromila Beta, is it?
No.
Good.
Goodbye.
How did you do that?
You think I'm going to tell you just like that what it took me 40 springs, summers and autumns of sitting on top of successive poles to work out?
What about winter?
What about winter?
Don't you sit on the pole in the winter?
Just because I sit up a pole for most of my life doesn't mean I'm stupid. I go south in the winter. Got a beach house overlooking the beach. Sit on the chimney stack.
Do you have any advice for a traveller?
Yes. Get a beach house. It gives you somewhere to go. Look, see her down there?
Yes, I consulted her, as a matter of fact.
Still.
Fat lot she knows. I got the beach house because she turned it down. What advice did she give you?
Do exactly the opposite of everything she's done.
In other words, get a beach house.
I suppose so. Any other advice? Ugh.
A beach house doesn't even have to be on the beach, though the best ones are. We all like to congregate at boundary conditions.
Really?
Where land meets water, where earth meets air, where body meets mind, where space meets time, we like to be on one side and look at the other.
Please stop!
You can't take it, eh? You come to me for advice, but you can't cope with anything you don't recognize. So we'll have to tell you something you already know, but make it sound like news. Business as usual, then? Where are you from, boy?
Tell you what, you're a seer. Why don't you tell me?
You come from the earth, one of them.
One of them?
I can't tell you any more.
But I've come all this way.
You cannot see what I see because you see what you see. You cannot know what I know because you know what you know. Everything you see or hear or experience in any way at all is specific to you. You create a universe by perceiving it, so everything in the universe you perceive is specific to you.
Hang on, can I write this down?
You can pick it up by the bucket load at the spaceport. They've got racks of the stuff.
It says in the brochure that I can have a special prayer, individually tailored to me and my special needs.
Oh, all right. Here's the prayer for you, then. Lord, Lord, Lord. It's best to put that bit in, just in case. You can never be too sure. Protect me from knowing what I don't need to know. Protect me from even knowing that there are things to know that I don't know. Protect me from knowing that I decided not to know about the things that I decided not to know about. Amen. That's it.
Thank you.
Oh, and there's another prayer that goes with it. That's very important.
Okay.
It goes, Lord, 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 protect me from the consequences of the above prayer. Amen.
Thank you.
Now, I suggest you get the next flight off this planet. Goodbye.
Where? How did you do that?
Come on, Colin.
Even in my highly delighted condition, I have to say it is taking all of my energy to pump the slightest part of me whatsoever into the doors in these lower reaches of the building.
Yeah, I noticed. Oh, dingo's kidneys. Oh, suffering Zarquan.
Infinitum Enterprises Hitchhiker's Guide Accountancy Department. No admittance, not even to authorized personnel. You are wasting your time here. Go away. Do not touch me with your soiled hands.
Infinitum Enterprises. What happened to beach shirts and that old jank spirit?
Oh! How did you do that?
Mixture of pleasure and pain. Never fails.
If you're listening to this on planet Earth, then A, good luck to you. There's an awful lot of stuff you don't know anything about. In your case, the consequences of not knowing the stuff are particularly terrible. But then, hey, that's just the way the cookie gets completely stomped on and obliterated. B, don't imagine you know what a computer terminal is. A computer terminal is not some television with a typewriter in front of it. It's an interface where the mind and body can connect with the universe and move bits of it about. If one were to gain access to the nerve center of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in other words, its accounting computer, by, say, using a stolen Identity-Ease card, one would discover a bank of terminals lining the walls of a -10th floor room in its basement. These are portals onto every aspect of the Guide's operations, and any order, say, to disallow a researcher's expenses, is input on a virtual level. Using a headset equipped with sensory deceptors, the operator will find themselves in a universe once only accessed from a single office on the 5th floor of the building, but which now has expanded in every conceivable way.
Wow!
It is a universe of densely enfolded worlds, of wild topographies, towering mountain peaks, heart-stopping ravines, of moons shattering off into seahorses, hurtful blurting crevices, silently heaving oceans, and bottomless hurtling hooping funts. And in a valley below the ledge on its tallest mountain where Ford Prefect finds himself clinging, stands a single shack on a deserted seashore.
And I thought accountancy was boring. Think, Ford, it's a simulated reality. You can snap back out of it at any moment.
Are you quite all right, Mr. Prefect?
Quite all right. Just checking. OK, this must be a four-dimensional topological model of the Guide's financial systems I'm in. And somebody or something will very shortly want to know why. And here they come.
What is happening, Mr. Prefect, sir?
I'm being inspected by the virtual accountancy creature, steely-eyed, pencil-moustached, with wings, and carrying laser guns.
I am happy virtual guns cannot hurt you.
I'm not sure this universe is as virtual as it looks.
Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here? What is your authorization? Why haven't you got?
Here, boys, my Identity-Ease card.
Nice to see you, Mr. Van Hal. Is there anything we can do for you?
Certainly there is. Clear all expenses for Ford Prefect, Beetlejuice 5 Sector retrospectively, and allow this Dino charge card all privileges with roaming. Got the number?
Yes, sir. Immediately, sir. Without delay. It is done.
Oh, I wish I'd thought of this before.
Ford! You're back!
Say, Ford? What the zark are you doing here?
Hey! Where's Monkey Man?
Arthur, I don't know.
This is really important. On a scale of 1 to 10, 13. I know what's going on.
Zaphod, if that were true, then I've lost just about every bet I've ever made with myself. What do you mean I'm back?
You don't remember? Last time you were here.
This is eerily familiar to a conversation I had with a barman in Handold City.
Hey, so your memory is out of sync with yourself too, Hoopy! That's why I came back to the Guide building. Trillian said I was dreaming or drunk when I was last here, and you know what I found out?
Drunk is better?
Yeah. The presidency, the cricket robots, it was all a front. The Vogon set it all up, and this guy's been controlling it all from here.
Which guy?
Zarnywhoop. Van Hal. He's a Vogon. A plastic surgery, liposucked, fake tan, business-suited Vogon boss. The big cheese with a side order of jeweled crab.
But why would the Vogons want to take over the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Their paperwork was backing up. Every time they thought they had destroyed a planet in a plural zone, it reappeared. To stop the whole bureaucracy imploding, they need to bridge all available realities. Even mine. Wow. Some aquatic mammals from Earth gave them the idea. Dent's an aquatic mammal, isn't he?
Well, he likes taking baths, but I don't think he's much of a physicist.
Hey, you've heard of the total perspective vortex, right?
Well, I've heard you boast that you were the only person to survive it.
Yeah, well, I am, in a way. But it isn't just a torture machine, Frood. It's dimensional bridging software. And this was the prototype. Thought that cricket war was a cheap sideshow. The Vogons shrank the total perspective vortex into a portable unit, and it's got the voice of those Lintilla chicks.
What Lintilla chicks?
It's scary and sexy beyond anything. Except maybe riding a Fualornis fire dragon naked. No, it's worse than that. You can't rub cream on this baby. Look, you have to find the package and get it out of the Hitchhiker's building.
Me? Why can't you do it?
Hey, dude! I've just spent virtual months in a virtual shack with virtually the most boring man in the universe and his actually smelly virtual cat. I need a very real and a very large pan-galactic goggle blaster inside me. Now!
You ain't going no further, bitch! Only Zoc wasn't gonna save you now!
This program is brought to you by Clean-O-Dent, the toothpaste with atomic whitener.
Glow in the dark, bright as the sun, Clean-O-Dent for everyone.
Now with vibrating nanofoam.
And later on Home Brain Box.
Oh, not again. Excuse me.
Oh, yes, sir. Can I get you something? Paper napkin?
No, is that the only movie channel on this flight?
We're just coming up to the Lamuella hyperspace jump point, sir. After that, we pick up FordWorks fictional news and ThinkVid.
Crew to seats for hyperjump in 30 seconds.
Oh, you'll want to fasten your seatbelt, sir.
Done. Just going to fasten this one, too.
Yes, we were wondering why you booked 2 seats when you only needed 1.
I always do on interstellar flights. In about 15 seconds, I'm hoping for a miracle. Shouldn't you find your seat?
Yes, yes, of course.
3, 2, 1. Folks, we seem to have hit a major glitch in hyperspace. For those of you who have not given up addictive substances, smoke them if you got them.
But, Mr. Prefect, I still don't understand what you did inside the account's computer in only 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, the job only took 30 seconds, then 2 minutes to find out what's going on from my cousin, then another minute to reverse engineer evidence of my visit by programming in the sort of mental blocks that otherwise perfectly normal people develop when elected to high political office. Elevator.
Hello, I'm to be your Sirius Cybernetics Corporation Happy Vertical People Transporter, taking you, the visitor to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Enough already. Floor 23 and step on it.
Seems to be a popular floor today. Share and enjoy.
Popular floor? That doesn't sound good.
I'll sound however you want, sir. Perhaps you'd like me to sing some more. Let your pile be...
May I ask what joy you discovered from your cousin, Mr. Beeblebrox, sir?
Oh, mostly that he's very, very bored, so I hitched him a lift to the nearest bar with my electronic thumb. The rest I'll keep to myself for now, Colin, just in case you get caught and reprogrammed again.
Inspired thinking. I am humbled by it.
Oh, Colin, shut this thing up.
And a privilege it is to do so. I will hack into its circuits.
Warning! If you are disconnecting my higher brain function, you should know that, like all Sirius Cybernetics Happy People Transporters, I can see into the future, and I must warn you that...
My circuit deactivated.
Ah, pity. It was finally going to say something useful. Okay, the nanobots have rebuilt the editor's door, again. When I break through, you cover me. The drinks trolley may have gone, but I saw a sofa, so I'll duck behind that. If Zani Whoop is still unconscious, all well and good, we just put back his identities and leave. If not, we play it by ear while you think of something. After 3. Ready?
3!
What? Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Beeblebrox?
No, you idiot. Prefect. Do try and keep up.
Zani Whoop, you're awake. Where did the sofa go? Ah, rocket launcher on Vogon's shoulder. Bad sign.
Prefect, you're fired. Literally.
Colin, the window!
God, do try and keep up.
Can Ford Prefect survive a fall from the Hitchhiker's Guide building's 23rd floor, equipped with nothing but a threadbare towel and a dubious credit card? Has Arthur Dent finally met a grisly fate at Stavromula Beta? What is the reality behind the portable total perspective unit? Random layers of multidimensionality are sandwiched together in the next mouth-watering episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
In that episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, William Franklin was the book and Rula Lenska was the voice of the bird. Simon Jones played Arthur Dent, Jeffrey McGivern, Ford Prefect, Mark Wing Davey, Seyfarth Beeblebrox, and Jonathan Price was Zani Whoop. Syed Jaffrey was the old man on the pole, and Miriam Margolyes, the smelly photocopier woman. Sandra Dickinson was Tricia Macmillan, Lorelei King, the stewardess, and Andrew Seacombe was Colin the robot. Roger Gregg played the Doctor, Philip Pope, the Grebulon underling, and Michael Fenton Stevens was the Grabillon lieutenant. The announcer was John Marsh. The surround mix was by Paul Dealey, and additional effects by Ken Humphrey and Paul Weir. The script editor was John Langdon, and the music was by Paul Wicks-Wickens. The production manager was Joe Wheeler, and the production assistant was Susie Matthews. The programme was adapted, directed and co-produced by Dirk Maggs. The producers were Helen Chatwell and Bruce Hyman, and it was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4. Listeners on planets other than one of the parallel Earths are requested not to give away any of the plot of next week's episode, just in case the Vogon demolition fleet fails to arrive in the next 7 days. Or doesn't, depending on which Earth we're referring to, I think. Do you mind if I have a lie down? I'm getting another of those headaches.
That was Fit the 24th of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Well, that's it with air checks. Stay tuned to the last 2 episodes on Saturday, as well as a special feature of an interview with Douglas Adams, as well as the beginning of Dirk Gentley's holistic agency on Airchecks. Airchecks is a 3-hour podcast uploaded every Saturday and Sunday in 1-hour increments. See you at the same time and the same channel.